Hello everyone. Today we'll learn about flat top sampling, which is also one of the experiment in your communication lab. First, let us understand what is sampling and what is sampling theorem or Nyquist's sampling theorem. Okay, so sampling is the process of conversion of an continuous analog signal to a discrete time signal. So this discrete time signal can be converted to digital signal or codes, or it can be directly transmitted as a pulse amplitude modulated signal, or it can be converted to pulse code modulated signal or pulse width modulated signal or the pulse position modulated signal. So it is the very first process where you convert an analog signal to a digital signal. Okay, now coming to the sampling theorem, for strictly band limited signals with finite energy, sampling theorem can be stated in two ways. One is a band limited signal of finite energy which only has frequency component less than WHz is completely described by specifying the values of the signal at instants of time separated by 1 by 2 times W seconds. So you simply know that Fs is equal to or greater than or equal to 2W. If you use this equation for sampling and continuous wave signal with W as its bandwidth, then definitely at the receiver end you can able to reconstruct the signal without any distortion. The same is represented in the second definition also. A band limited signal of finite energy which only has frequency components less than WHz may be completely recovered from a knowledge of its samples taken at the rate of 2 times omega samples per second, and the rate which is specified over here, that is greater than or equal to 2 times omega, is known as Nyquist rate, and the interval 1 divided by 2 times omega is called as Nyquist interval. Okay, so this is the basic understanding of Nyquist's sampling theorem. Now coming to the types of sampling, we have first one as impulse sampling, second one natural sampling, then we have flat top sampling. As you can see, this is our message signal, this impulse train is our sampling signal, multiplying message signal with the sampling signal, you will get the sampled signal, which is also in the form of impulses with varying amplitude, and it is sampled at the Nyquist rate, okay, which is given by this equation. So because of that we can easily recover back the signal. This impulse sampling is also called as ideal sampling because the impulses have a zero width and infinite height, that you know, right? So which is ideally possible, but practically there will be a finite width for the pulses and height is also not infinite. So this is equivalently modeled using the train of pulses which are depicted in the second figure. So this is natural sampling because when you multiply this signal, the message signal, with the pulse train, you will get this signal, and if we closely look into this signal, you can understand that the shape of the waveform is preserved here, correct? You can see the edges are slanted as the signal itself. Edges follow the amplitude level of the message. That's why the sampling is called as natural sampling. Okay, but there is a problem in natural sampling, that is, this kind of signal, if you want to transmit, it requires higher bandwidth. So to overcome this bandwidth limitation of the natural sampling, we have designed another sampling method called as flat top sampling. The difference being, sampled signals tops are being flat. This is the difference. Here the sampled signals tops are not flat, they are slanted, or they follow the waveform amplitude, but here they are flat. And because of this, what will happen is the bandwidth requirement to transmit the signal will be reduced. Okay, but there is a disadvantage with this particular technique also. The disadvantage is there is an effect called as aperture effect, which introduces distortion because of the amplitude level loss over here, correct? So that is the disadvantage of flat top sampling. But as the bandwidth is our constraint, this aperture effect can be overcome by using some equalizers, and thereby we can have a sufficiently good sampling circuit for our requirement. Okay, so this circuit is practically used. Okay, natural sampling is also used in some of the applications along with flat top sampling. So how these particular signals are generated? So I have explained that multiplying the message signal with pulse train will get the natural sampled signal. Now similarly, what happens with this one? Here the signal will be first multiplied with a impulse train. So you can see the impulse modulated signal or impulse sampled signal. When I say impulse, you need to practically understand that it will be a sample with very small t. Time duration will be very small, comparable to an ideal impulse. Okay, so after that it is passed through a filter which increases the width of these impulses, and thereby we'll get the flat top sampled signal. Okay, this is one method. Another method is we use sample and hold circuit and then again multiply by a pulse train, and we'll get the flat top sampled signals. Okay, so there are two operations involved in generation of pulse amplitude modulated signal, specifically the flat top sampled signals. So first one is instantaneous sampling of the message signal every ts seconds, where the sampling rate fs is equal to 1 by ts, which is chosen in accordance with the sampling theorem. That means ts is equal to 1 by 2 times omega. Then the second operation will be lengthening the duration of each sample so obtained to some constant value t. So pulse, which I have shown over here. So first operation is this one, impulse train multiplication, then multiplying with the pulse such that the duration of these impulses are lengthened. Okay, that is the general understanding, but the same can be implemented using sample and hold circuit. This jointly referred to as sample and hold, but when we practically do, we have designed some circuit called as sample and hold circuit, which performs this operation, these two operations, we can say these two operations. Okay, so what is the reason for this flat top sampling? Already I have indicated that the important reason for intentionally lengthening of the duration of each sample is to avoid the use of an excessive channel bandwidth, since bandwidth is inversely proportional to the pulse duration. So pulse duration is large, then bandwidth will be small. If bandwidth will be large, pulse duration should be small. So to overcome that difficulty, we have used lengthening of the pulses. Now I will explain you how sample and hold circuit can be used to generate the flat top samples which are shown over here. Okay, So consider this is your message signal. This is our M of t. It is passed through the sample and hold circuit. Okay, this is our sample and hold circuit till here. The output of this sample and hold circuit is this one, sample and hold. Okay, then next operation is it is multiplied with this pulse train, then we will get the output as this one. Okay, so what is the work of, so what is the working of individual components over here? Let us understand that. This particular op-amp is a input buffer. It acts as a input buffer which avoids any loading onto the MOSFET switch. This is a switch, you can say n-channel MOSFET, and then this is our sample and hold capacitor, and this is output buffer, okay, which do not allow the capacitor to discharge when the switch is off. It wants to hold the signal when switch is off. That's why this output buffer is used. Let us consider the scenario over here. So input is applied. This is the input. Since it is buffer, the whole of the input will be available over here with some gain if you have chosen RF and R input differently. And whenever there is a gate signal applied, this sample train is applied, or the sampling signal is applied to the gate of this MOSFET, right? So whenever this is applied, this switch will be closed. For that instant, capacitor will be charging, and it charges instantaneously. You can see it has charged instantaneously. Now for the next duration, it will be off. This gate pulse will be 0, so switch will be open. Switch will be open. So capacitor will not discharge through this path. It has to discharge here, but here also very high input impedance is there for the op-amp. So it will not discharge in this path as well. It has to hold the charge. So it will hold the charge until the next pulse cycle comes. Now in the next pulse, what will happen? The signal's next sample is passed through the capacitor. So what will happen? The capacitor charges for the higher value. Capacitor charges for the higher value again instantly, because this capacitor is designed to charge instantly such that it can act as a sample and hold circuit. So again, once the duration of this pulse is over, gate voltage will be 0 for this particular interval. Then this capacitor has to hold this charge until the next pulse comes. So in this way, this capacitor go on charging either in positive direction or in negative direction. As the amplitude goes in the negative, it will go in that direction as well. So it will generate a sample and holded signal. Now this is the output of sample and hold circuit. To get flat top samples, either we can move on from here to something called as quantization, then pulse code modulation, that is encoding and then transmitting, or we can multiply this signal with this kind of a pulse train and we get the flat top sample. How it is possible? Let us check now. So if you multiply this signal with this one, what will happen? For this interval of time, say it is 1 volt, this is 3 volt. 3 into 1 will be 3 volt for this interval of time. For the next interval of time, if you see 0 into any value, it will be 0. So you can consider this as our, say this as our 3 volt. For the next, it will be no value at all. Similarly, now next pulse comes, multiply this pulse with this value. This will be, say, 4 volt. 4 into 1 will be 4 for this instant only. After that, the pulse is over, 0 is multiplied, right? 0 multiplied with this time interval, the available time interval will be 0 itself. So 0 for the next, until the next pulse comes. So now again you have a next pulse. So this pulse is multiplied with this one. Say this is 5 volt. 1 into 5 volt will be 5 volt for the particular duration. Likewise, whenever the pulse is present, you will get that holded value as your output. When pulse is absent, output will be 0. And thereby, after sampling using the sample and hold circuit, we can use a pulse train of desired duration or sampling frequency, and we will be able to get the flat top sampled signals. So this is the particular understanding. And here as shown, the timing or the duration of the pulse is T, and duration between successive pulses will be Ts, which is Nyquist interval. Okay, so that's all about the theory part of this particular flat top sampling. Let us now go through the simulation of it. So this is the LT-SPICE circuit for generating flat top sampled signal. It is designed using two LF398 ICs, which are nothing but sample and hold circuits. Now let us first examine the IC pins. First pin is input, which takes the analog signal as its input. Then the logic pin, which is supplied with the sampling signal. Logic reference. According to this reference only, the switching on and off of the internal circuitry happens, which is the reference point is 0. If this logic is greater than 0, switch will be on. If the logic is less than 0, then switch will be off. You can say less than or equal to now, because the logic is either 10 volt or 0 volt. Then we have CH, which is holding capacitor, which hold the charges when switch is off. Then we have negative power supply VR and positive power supply VR plus and VR This VR plus and VR minus are connected to minus 12 volt plus 12 volt. Okay. Then we have output pin where we can get the output. Okay. Both the ICs are identical. Now coming to the input part of it. The input is a sinusoidal signal with amplitude 5 and frequency 100 Hz. Okay. So this is our message signal. Similarly, we have a sampling signal with amplitude 10 volt for a duration of 0.1 millisecond. So 0.1 millisecond will be on, 0.1 millisecond will be off. The total period will be 0.2 millisecond. Okay. So this is our signal or the sampling signal. Okay. Now the capacitor chosen to be 0.01 microfarad. In this particular simulation diagram, we can consider this as the first sample and hold circuit. The second part is to generate flat top sampled signals out of the given sample and holded signal. Okay. And the third part over here is our receiver. So two parts in the transmitter and another one is a receiver. This receiver is designed to detect 100 Hz analog signal, where f is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC equation is used to design the RC filter. Okay. Now let us run this simulation and see the waveforms. Let me adjust the window now. Okay, so here you can see the first signal, which is your input, this signal. Okay, the second one is a sampling signal, which is having the higher frequency, or you can say more than the Nyquist rate itself. Correct. So after sampling, the output is here, which is SH out, sample and hold that signal. I can have this signal here also. So this is the sample and hold that signal. Okay, both together. So whenever this is on, the pulse is on, it is sampling, otherwise it will be holding. Since the frequency chosen is very high, we cannot distinguish between the sampled and holded signal and the original signal. There is a slight difference you can observe, the dot like thing, correct, here. Now the sample and holded signal will be applied to CH, correct. Earlier CH was our capacitor. Now this itself acts as a charge for our IC, and logic is supplied with again the sampling signal. So it will sample this holded value. Because of that, we'll get the flat top sampled output, which is over here. So let us see whether it is flat top sampled. Yes, you can see over here. So tops are flat. It is decreasing as the signal goes down, increasing as the amplitude of the signal increases. Correct? Now we have got the flat top sampled signal. Here you can see the flat top sampled signal compared with your actual message signal. At the receiver end, we need to recover back. Correct? So to recover, what we are doing, we are passing through the filter. What is that filter? It is a low pass filter. You can see this is our output. Though I had indicated this as our flat top signal, and this is our output. Okay, you can see here this is the output. Now let us compare this output with the original signal. Okay, so you can observe there is a slight phase difference between input and output because of the initial delay what we have. Apart from that, the same frequency is there. Amplitude, however, we can get if we use an amplifier, that is this signal, if it is passed through amplifier, we can get the desired level of amplitude, and this phase shift can be compensated. So in this means we can generate flat top sampled signals and successfully detect them using the RC filter. Okay, so that's all about flat top sampling. I hope you have understood the concept. Thanks for watching.